if Angelina Jordan is building carefully, then ownership may be part of her long-term strategy. Now, let's move to another powerful concept: timing. In finance, timing can change everything. Releasing something too early can limit its impact. Releasing something at the right moment can multiply its value. And when an artist is not rushing, they can choose their timing more carefully. Instead of reacting to trends, they can create moments. And moments attract attention more effectively than constant activity. Now, connect this to another idea: perceived rarity. If something is always available, people take it for granted. But if something appears at the right time, in the right way, it feels special. And special things are valued more. Angelina Jordan's selective presence creates that effect. She is not everywhere. So when she appears, people notice. And attention, when concentrated, becomes powerful. Now, let's talk about something even deeper: emotional equity. In finance, equity usually refers to ownership. But in this case, think of it differently. Emotional equity is the connection people feel toward an artist. It is built over time, through consistency, through authenticity, through meaningful experiences. And the stronger that emotional equity, the more valuable the artist becomes. Because people are not just consuming the music, they are connected to it. They support it. They believe in it. And that kind of support is not temporary. It lasts. Now imagine combining emotional equity with financial structure. You get something very powerful: a career that is not just profitable, but sustainable. Now, let's take another step forward: global reach. With platforms like streaming services and YouTube, an artist is no longer limited to one country. They can reach listeners all over the world. And global reach increases earning potential, because income is no longer coming from one market. It is coming from many. And Angelina Jordan already has an international audience, which means her financial growth is not limited. It can expand across regions, across cultures, across time. Now combine global reach with loyal audience behavior. That creates something very stable. Because even if one market slows down, another continues, and that reduces financial risk. Now, let's bring everything together again: control, ownership, timing, scarcity, emotional equity, global reach. These are not random elements. They are financial pillars. And when they're aligned, they create a system that supports long-term success. Not just visibility, not just popularity, but real, lasting value. And this is why her path looks different. Because it is not built for quick results. It is built for durability. Now, here is the most important part of all. Most people will not notice this while it's happening, because it is quiet. There are no loud announcements, no sudden speeches, no dramatic changes. But underneath that quiet surface, something is building. Slowly, steadily, powerfully. And one day, the result of that growth will become visible. Not as a sudden explosion, but as something solid, something undeniable, something that has been forming over time. And when that moment arrives, people may look back and realize something: that everything they thought was slow was actually strategic. Everything they thought was quiet was actually intentional. And everything they thought was small was actually building into something much bigger. Because in finance, the strongest growth is often the one you don't see immediately. But when it reveals itself, it changes everything. And as all of these elements continue to align, one final layer begins to reveal itself. Not just how value is built, but how value is protected. Because building wealth is one part of the process, but protecting that wealth is what ensures it lasts. In many industries, people focus heavily on growth. They chase expansion. They chase visibility. They chase numbers. But they forget something critical. Without protection, growth can collapse. And in the music industry, this happens more often than people realize. Artists rise quickly, gain attention, earn money, and then slowly lose it. not because they lack talent, but because they lack structure. Now, when we look again at Angelina Jordan, her approach suggests something different. She's not only building carefully, she's also moving in a way that reduces unnecessary risk. And risk management is a key part of finance, because every decision has consequences. Signing the wrong deal, releasing too much content, overexposing your brand. All of these can reduce long-term value. But moving with patience allows better decisions. Better decisions lead to better outcomes. Now let's take a deeper look at career longevity. In finance, long-term success depends on sustainability. Not just how fast something grows, but how long it continues. And sustainability in music depends on three main factors: relevance, connection, adaptability. Relevance means people still care. Connection means people still feel something. Adaptability means the artist can evolve without losing identity. So far, Angelina Jordan shows strong signs in all three areas. Her style is not tied to short-term trends, which means it does not expire quickly. Her emotional delivery creates deep connection, which keeps her audience engaged. And her gradual growth allows space for evolution, which supports long-term adaptability. Now, when these three elements are present, something powerful happens. The artist becomes timeless, and timeless artists hold value across generations, which leads to something very important financially: multi-generational income potential. This means the music does not just earn today. It continues to earn years later, across different audiences, across different time periods. And that is where real long-term wealth is created. Now, let's move into another layer: reputation capital. In finance, reputation has value because it influences opportunities. A strong reputation attracts better deals, better collaborations, better platforms, and a weak reputation limits them. Angelina Jordan's reputation is built around authenticity and depth, not controversy, not overexposure. And that type of reputation is stable. It creates trust, and trust leads to long-term opportunity. Now let's go even deeper. Opportunity selection. Not every opportunity should be accepted. In fact, one of the most powerful financial skills is knowing what to reject. Because every yes has a cost: time, energy, focus. And saying yes to the wrong opportunity can delay better ones. But saying no to the wrong ones preserves value. Her selective approach suggests a strong level of discipline. And discipline is what protects long-term direction. Now, let's connect everything to one final concept: value maturity. At the beginning, an artist's value is based on potential, what they could become. Over time, that value matures. It becomes based on consistency, quality, impact. And when value matures, it stabilizes. It becomes less dependent on hype and more dependent on substance. This is where long-term financial strength is created, because mature value is harder to replace and harder to ignore. Now, looking at Angelina Jordan's path, it appears she is moving toward that stage. Not rushing it, not forcing it, but allowing it to develop naturally. And that approach may be the most important part of her entire strategy. Because in a world where everything is fast, she is building something steady. In a world where attention is temporary, she is building something lasting. And in a world where many chase visibility, she is building value. Now, let's step back one last time. Everything we have seen, every decision, every pattern, points to one conclusion. This is not just a music career. It is a financial system, a system built on control, scarcity, emotion, structure, patience. And systems are what create lasting results. Not moments, not trends, not short-term success, but consistent long-term growth. So when people look at Angelina Jordan and wonder why things seem slow, they may be missing the bigger picture. Because what looks slow on the surface may actually be strong underneath. And what looks quiet now may become powerful later. Because in finance, The most important growth is not always visible at the beginning, but when it fully develops, it becomes undeniable. And when that happens, it changes how everything is understood, not just about the artist, but about the strategy behind the artist. And that is when people finally realize something important, that this was never about quick success. It was about building something that lasts, something that grows, something that continues, long after the moment has passed. And that is what real financial success looks like. And as we reach the final stage of this journey, everything begins to connect in a way that is impossible to ignore. Because when you take every layer we have explored and place them side by side, a clear pattern emerges. This is not luck. This is not coincidence. This is not accidental success. This is structure. And structure is what creates outcomes that last. From the very beginning, the signals were there. A different kind of presence, a different kind of delivery, a different kind of pace. But what seemed like artistic choices are now revealing themselves as strategic advantages. Because every slow step reduced risk, every selective decision protected value, every quiet moment built anticipation. And anticipation is powerful, because when people wait for something, they value it more. Now, let's bring this into a final financial perspective. There are 3 stages of value in any career. The first stage is attention. This is where people discover you. It is driven by moments, by exposure, by visibility. Angelina Jordan achieved this early. That first performance created attention. It introduced her to the world. But attention alone is not enough, because attention can fade, which leads to the second stage. Retention. This is where people stay, where they return, where they remain connected. And this is where she became different, because people did not just watch her once. They came back. They followed her journey. They stayed emotionally connected, and that created stability. Now comes the third and most important stage, expansion of value. This is where everything multiplies, where attention and retention turn into something bigger, into influence, into financial strength, into long-term positioning. And this is the stage she is moving into. Not quickly, but steadily. And that steady movement is what makes it powerful. Because fast growth can break, but steady growth builds. Now, as we close this analysis, there is one final concept to understand. Invisible growth. Not all progress is visible. Not all value can be measured immediately. Some of the most important developments happen quietly, behind the scenes, without recognition. But they matter, because they create the foundation for everything that comes later. And that is exactly what is happening here.